let's go back to coaches that are still there in that same division. Mack Brown at North Carolina. Initial was like, especially coming with Les Miles, in the same, it seemed like a nostalgia play. Then he exceeds expectations, picked very low. A lot of the win totals for that first season included missing a bowl game. This flips Sam Howell from Florida State. They make it to the bowl game. Howell lights up Temple in the bowl game, and they go 7-6 in that first season. Then all of a sudden we come in with a little bit more expectations. Then the expectations get raised again going into last season. And North Carolina, after being a team ranked up in the top 10, picked to win the ACC Coastal Division, fell short. So exceed slightly, exceed, I guess, again, and then in year 3, fall short of expectations. My grade was low for the hire initially because I felt like it was a play to appease the fan base. I quickly flipped my opinion on that when I saw what he was able to do on the recruiting trail. And now I think I've settled somewhere in between. How do we evaluate the 3 years of Mack Brown at North Carolina?
I gave it an A. I mean, who has been better in recent memory than Mack Brown at North Carolina?
Larry Fedora?
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
I guess.
We forget his 11-win season.
Yeah, but he also the bottoming out there was crazy.
It was quick, but from my opinion is that the fans not caring is what led to the quick hook on Fedora. When just they voiced their displeasure by not showing up. And when State was beating North Carolina at home in the final game of the season on senior day, and no one was there and no one was cheering or no one cared, that was it for him, because it is a basketball school where you at least need them to show up and make it part of their social event in the center of their weekend. And when everybody was checking out, it's like, we got to just get someone that's going to get the fans excited again.
I feel like Mack Brown is building something more sustainable there with the recruiting, and he's already had a very nice year. Obviously, 2020. How much do you discount what they did in 2020? Because obviously, we write off a lot of the good seasons. Do you write off a lot of the, or we write off a lot of the bad seasons? Do we write off some of the good seasons there? I don't know.
2020 was building and moving forward. 2020 was why 2021 had those expectations, because they thumped Miami in Miami. They were hanging with Notre Dame, for a little bit. Notre Dame ended up pulling away, but I mean, that was a team that went 7-3 in conference play, finished third place in the conference. That was a really, really good season. It was the step forward that you wanted to see, which is what made finishing with a sub 500 record in conference play in 21 a little bit of a disappointment.
To me, the quality of player he's getting in North Carolina merits an A.
But that's a different discussion, isn't it? Like, I would say Mack Brown.
No, it's the main part of your job.
But he's an A+ recruiter. But then isn't it part of it to develop that talent? Like, I love Mack. Like, trust me, don't get me wrong. I gave it a B- because, like, I feel it has to translate. And that's been the one knock against Mack, is underperforming with some of the top talent. What's probably end to his demise at Texas was getting all the 4 and 5 stars and not being able to deliver on it. And I think this year is massive. Because what do you think the biggest reason for North Carolina's turnaround? Was it Mack Brown or was it Sam Howell? And both really is the answer. But he found a quarterback who was pretty special and is probably going to be, late first, early second round pick. He's been a great player for them, been able to put up a lot of points. Like, if he didn't get Sam Howell, would they be anywhere? Well, I think they might be sub 500 in some of these seasons. And like, they did lose to Florida State a couple years ago. They were top 5. I don't know. I love Mack. I'm a little bit
Florida
worried.
State twice.
Yes, I'm a little bit
Florida
worried.
State teams that have not been bowling have beaten North Carolina twice.
I hope I'm
North
wrong.
Carolina, like, he's building something there.
I hope he is. I hope you're right. I am a little bit concerned post Sam Howell how they play this season.
When you're 70 years old,
not a young pup. Like, he's getting older. Is he allowed? Like,
well, right. No. So, right. I see where you're going with this. I don't think Mack Brown's going to be the guy that's going to take them to the next level. I think his recruiting will give them the baseline if they make the right hire, the next guy. If they don't let him hold on there forever. Because I agree, he doesn't develop the talent to the standard you need. But he's absolutely the guy right now. He's got enough juice left on the recruiting trail to get those players in there.
Mm-hmm.
and put the
The
recruiting
people-
operation in place.
I think that if Mack wants to, he can hold on as long as he wants, because the people who got Fedora out the paint were the people who like Mack and wanted Mack, and that means that he's got all the weapons.
You a lifetime deal.
It's not a lifetime deal. they're doing
It's
that.
pretty close though. And Sally's right there with him, and they met into Chapel Hill, and it goes way back, and there's history. I love it. I hope he is building something special. I'm a little bit worried about this season coming up. Do you remember what his salary, like what his deal was when he took this job? And it shows you how much Mack Brown wanted to get back in the game. I have to double check this, but his first contract, the one when he took the job, wasn't it like 700,000? Wasn't it like
No.
dirt?
No.
Wow.
Sure.
I was at the press conference. The term sheet was on all of the chairs
Yeah.
when we came
It
to
was
sit
cheap,
down.
right? It was really cheap comparatively to.
It was there was an M in there. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a sub. You cannot be. Even in the broke ACC, you cannot be handing out sub-$1 million annual compensation salaries to head coaches. I mean, that's just disrespectful to the sport that generates more revenue than anything else that you've got coming into your athletic department. He made some changes this offseason. We talk about that's a thread here. And look, after year 3, this is when, if something's not working out, it's time to go. Jay Bateman out as defensive coordinator. I'm curious to see. Phil Longo was the hotness when Sam Howell and that offense really took over. And obviously the following year, when you've got 2 1,000-yard rushers and Michael Carter and Javonte Williams, De'Ami Brown, like the wide receiver, Daz Newsome, the wide receivers are incredible. And Phil Longo got a lot of that credit too. And so the offensive struggles this past season, even though Sam Howell finished with good statistical numbers, the unit as a whole, and the passing game in particular, outside of Josh Downs, was not particularly effective. But I said that I've been all over the place. I was low. Then I was way up in an A going into 2021. I think I'm sitting more on just like a real solid B right now, where you want to see some of these really good recruiting classes turn into competing for ACC championships to feel like I'm back in that A range.